Back to some little bit of work on the MX6000. I've got a hydraulic leak somewhere down in here. Normally this cover is on, but I noticed I was just moving a bunch of dirt. You can kind of tell it needs cleaned up, but I just wanted to go ahead and tighten this up before the next job. The three nuts that hold this on are 12 millimeter, and I just went in and took that off, and I thought, well, man, I should have just went ahead and went over there. I'm going to get my cheap old Ryobi pressure washer. I think first thing, I just need to go and get all this pressure washed off, cleaned up real good so I can see exactly if there's some abrasion or loose fitting or whatever, then work. I think it's only happening when it's the loader, so kind of gives me an indication, but I think I need to clean it anyway. So I'm going to get this cleaned up and then we'll look at it. But I got most of the major dirt off, and I pressure washed kind of the whole thing in a way. But I'm going to go ahead and actually pressure wash a little bit on the engine. Again, this thing's not dirty because I do this every once in a while. I'm not a neat freak with it. But what I look for really is, I mean, you start getting dirt built up around different things. You're also letting heat not dissipate from around a valve or something like that. Or some of the mechanical moving parts. I mean, if you don't have those clean around there, and it's a valve that's got to move in and out, or any kind of lever, you get grass, mud, and stuff build up. You may start to limit the function. Something may bend. So it's that kind of pickiness about the mechanics, not really the look that much as far as cleanliness. But I'm going to use caution too. I don't really overspray on the electronic components. The engine's not hot. I don't want to do a thermal shock on anything where, you know, it's hot from running and then you start spraying water on it and you have a fast temperature reduction. It's not good. But also I'm not going to run the engine while I'm pressure washing, even with the hood closed, because I don't want air taken into the air filter, or excuse me, moist air taken into the air filter that much. And I'll bush hog when it's raining some, because that's actually a really good time to do it. Cut down the dust control for the intake screen and things like that. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pressure wash it now just to uncoat it, but it's actually pretty nice, and then I'll move on. All right, I've been looking over real good. Got the cover off here. It's cleaned. Waited for it to dry a little bit so I could really look. Then I ran the tractor. Getting the temperature up, move the bucket up and down, and it's not coming from this grouping. Let me see if I can go back. It's not coming from that grouping there. It appears to be coming from the grouping underneath, which is another, there's 4 bolts in that, and I'm pretty sure it was a 13 millimeter, these 4 bolts. But yeah, something's coming from this. I mean, it's goopy. So I'm going to go get some gloves on and just wipe this down and see which one of these it is. All right, so the good thing about, went in and took a break for a second because I'm trying to watch a West Virginia game and just had a weather delay. So we'll come back out. Sort of wiping this down, and as I pulled this wiring harness out of this slot, which would be protected by the box that covers this from sticks and briars and all that kind of stuff, but it was just sitting in this slot inside, which is protected. However, this is the good thing about checking things, cleaning the tractor really well, looking at everywhere on it every once in a while, because you'll find things early. So this was sitting in there, probably vibrating, and it abrased away a lot of the plastic sheeting, which I don't really like this corrugated stuff that much anyway. Fine for a lot of locations, but I'm going to put some other protective layers over that extra. We got it. Actually, good thing is we found it. There is no abrasion on the wires. So just in time. That's awesome. But I think I'm going to take this, instead of putting it down in this slot right here, which it was down in there, I'm going to secure this back with some of the other harnesses up here a little bit higher. We'll check that out, see what the best option is for it, but I'll get on to trying to find the leak. All right, I can barely hold this back. It's almost right on my cheek for him to really get it to zoom out. But all of them were pretty good. Just a little bit of snug on each one on the 90, on the connection on this side. And then on this side, this one right here was definitely loose. It took about a complete turn. I'm going to say that that's probably the one. I'll fire up the tractor in a little bit and check that. But as I had just said before, we caught this before that went through and got those wires there. But it was a lot closer up in there. I'll see if I can zoom this in. Yeah, so when I started looking at this wire, if you leave a wire tie loose, then it can still move and wiggle in there. And when I'm looking at this wire, it has actually started to, and I can barely get to move. It has actually worn the black stripe off of that wire, so we caught that in time as well. But that is from where we really want to get some security on that. That's just going to vibrate. I mean, a lot of bush hogging and everything, so not good there. But earlier I had mentioned, let me zoom back out. I think if I can, I've got rubber gloves on, so that doesn't work real great. Let me zoom out. That's in. Okay. Now, earlier I had mentioned, yeah, all the cleaning and, look for things that could jam up rods and moving parts in here. And sure enough, I just looked over and look what I found right there. It's hard to see this and grab, but yeah, she's jammed in there. So against that lever right there, I know that's actually the line, little banjo connection there, but that's jammed up in there. So I'm gonna try to yank that thing out of there. Plus I just noticed a stick up in here. Get that in my eyes. But a general look and see if I've got anything else jammed up in here. But moving on. I get the protection on that as well now. All right, so I'm taking a break from underneath for a minute. It's gotten a little bit hotter out here, and over there the sun is actually on the legs kind of coming into the shop. So I'm just going to do a couple of the things that was on the little list. Like I'm cleaning the windows, wiping those good. I've got a treatment stuff I'm going to try on the glass and see how it does. It's one of those Facebook ads, and I think it come out of Italy. It's supposed to really keep the water droplets off. We're going to try it. I'll test it out. But I want to clean all the glass really good first. Even though it's going to get dirty Monday. But one of the little things I had on my list was the mirror here. These things were getting so floppy. I mean, just really loose. And all you need to do is take the back cover, which this one came off and it's somewhere in the field probably. But you can tighten those Phillips screws underneath that cover, and that will give you more tension so that stays in place. They were actually at the point to where the wind would actually turn those things. So I'm just actually cleaning in the cab. I got the stick out from underneath, kind of give my back a break, and then I'm going to gather up my electrical tools to go back underneath it. All right, I got the new piece over top of it. I'll twist some of this around. There's it's a little bit wider where they've had the tape on it. Here, I'll try to rotate this around to cover that part, but it's covered the whole way up from that junction to the next junction. Where is the next junction? Ah, right there. So it's an extra coating all the way to there. This will seal up. Boy, if I could hold it steady. This will seal up once I get the wire ties all the way down there through it. Now, it is kind of hard to get that over top of another corrugated tube. This is just like one size larger. I've got several rolls of different stuff. I've got the braided hose that can go over top of it. But I thought this would just be good for the inside. But to get this flared open on the new piece that's going over top of it, I just use a punch, kind of keep it separated and help flare it apart and push the other one back in. Now, the next thing, throw that down, is I've got a box of some bigger stuff. I am going to see about doubling this and then securing it up in here, and I'll just take another little short video when I get it actually secured and in place. Okay, we're good on the wiring part. You'll see a lot of, I got one more to clip off there. I think I'll probably put about 25 wire ties in here, but You've got that original, that last bundle I showed you is inside of this, like 3/4 to inch size corrugated tubing. I was careful on the end here. I did a loop in the end instead of I didn't want to do a tight bite. You really don't want to squeeze a bite on the end of the wire in a loop coming back. So I just gave it a nice little return. It's clipped to it, and then we've got a wire tied to this braided hose back here, and I'm keeping it, pulled it over away from this bar, this rack, anything else. So it's in place really firm, and the bottom part will be protected by the box again. So I'm gonna clean this stuff up, the tools and everything here, move it out, and then it's gonna be time for a run test on the hydraulics and see if that leak over here stopped. Well, I guess this is the end of the hydraulic leak video and the wire harness. Tested it later on, and the leak was where I thought it was at. Well, not first originally, but when I found the other part, the inside box taken off, but everything wrapped up and good, and I believe secure. So I kind of got busy, had to get the loader off. We are making a bush hog video, so all that has been done down through there, working on some other things. But yeah, if you got some oil coming from that box underneath, you definitely got a line loose, and just take a look at the harnesses everywhere, every once in a while, just a nuts and bolts inspection. I love it when you can catch stuff before it's actually becomes a problem. But man, have a blessed day.